And for more on this, I spoke to Jeff Moon, who's a former assistant US trade representative for China, and I asked him how the current state of US-China trade relations compares to when he left office 8 years ago.
These talks are vital. Up until now, the Trump administration has refused to engage China on trade or any other issues. The Biden administration really did not engage in any serious trading negotiations with China. So we're really picking up where we left off at the end of Trump's first term. Now, at that time, we were waiting for China to fulfill its phase one deal promises. That deal was struck a year before the end of the end of his term. We now know that that never happened. So Trump is now returning to the negotiating table. This time he has additional tariffs and an effective embargo on bilateral trade, and he's hoping for more action this time on the Chinese side.
And are you expectant of essentially a new phase of the trade negotiations?
Yes, I think what is going to come out of this is that we will have some agreement to move forward formally. We will move beyond the rhetoric of who needs who more or who initiated the meeting. We will probably get designated lead officials. We'll get an agenda. We'll get maybe some working groups moving forward, and we'll have a process to move forward. That doesn't sound all that significant, but actually in this case, it is. Yeah,
really vital details so things can move forward. And how significant is it that President Trump is suggesting a potential reduction in tariffs from 145% down to 80%? Is that a credible negotiating position?
Well, I think that all of the statements before these meetings started were really aimed at domestic audiences, including Trump's statements about 80%. I think what those statements were all about was he was trying to prepare his American domestic audience for reductions in tariffs. Now, trade experts know that there is no effective difference between 145% and 80%. An embargo is an embargo. I think a lot of people think that trade becomes prohibitive when you get to about 60% tariffs. And Citibank has said that global trade could survive tariffs at about 20 to 25%. I think that that's true, and I think that that's what the two sides really ought to be aiming for if they want to get bilateral trade restarted.
And the United States is linking these trade negotiations with other broader issues like fentanyl. Does that affect the chances of actually reaching an agreement?
I think China really underestimates the importance of the fentanyl issue. It's very emotional in the United States because there have been so many deaths. Ironically, there was fentanyl cooperation during the Biden administration. There were working groups, they met, they delivered readouts. There may not have been as much cooperation as the Americans wanted, but that was going on. This became a trade issue, as far as I know, in about mid-October of 2024, several weeks before the presidential election. At that time, a lawyer who had served in the Trump 1 administration filed a petition on behalf of the families of fentanyl victims with Biden's U.S. trade representative seeking Section 301 tariffs. So what I think Trump is doing here is trying to serve two purposes. First of all, I think he's trying to gather support from those fentanyl victims' families. And second, as I said before, he's trying to go to the negotiating table with China this time with additional tariff leverage that can get him beyond the empty promises of the phase one deal.